Momo, you can start. Sure.
All right, thank you very much, George. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Momo Mobila, and I'll be your moderator for today for the second cohort of the SC Women in Tech Incubator Program. Okay. All right, so just before we start, I'm just going to give a few ground rules. So number one, if you're on a Zoom, if you're on Facebook, you're good. But if you're on Zoom, please make sure that as you come in that you mute your mic. And also, if you have any questions, please make sure that you type them into the chat. And we'll be taking questions at the end of the session where we're going to have a dedicated Q&A session. And also, yes, feel free to ask questions if you have questions right now. If you've already started working on the application form and you already have questions right now, please feel free to throw them in and we'll tackle them at the end of the session. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, my name is Momo Mobila. I'm projects lead at BongoHive, and I'll be your moderator for today. And our program for today will be a few welcome and introductions to, we'll be introducing you to some of the people that will be speaking to you today, as well as what the SC Women in Tech program is about. And then we'll be hearing from Corporate Affairs Manager of Standard Chartered, Kiembe Kialusanza, followed by Peter, who will give us a rundown on how to apply for the SC Women in Tech program, as well as a little bit more information on using a technology for your business. And then finally, we'll close with the Q&A session. All right, Kiembe, the floor is all yours. Kiembe, are you able to hear me?
Yes? I can hear you. I'm just checking. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Loud
and can you see me?
Yes, very clearly.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, well, so thank you very much, Momo, and it's great to be here. My name is Kiembe Kialusanza Piri, and I am the Corporate Affairs Manager at Standard Chartered Bank, but I'm also the Sustainability Lead. So I'm really excited to be doing this again with the ladies that I've logged on today, because for me, the specific topic around women, I think, is very, very dear to me. But then also, as a bank, it's an area that we want to focus on more strongly than we have. And I think Women in Tech Incubator Program is a very clear indicator of that. So maybe I can just start to talk about a little bit about how some background as to what Women in Tech is or what Standard Chartered does. So Standard Chartered is no stranger, okay, to community activities and to building inclusive communities. What we've done ranges across many different initiatives around HIV back in 1999. One of our biggest programs called Seeing is Believing, where we had over 250 million people across the world benefiting from a program that was tackling avoidable blindness. And we had committed funds to this as well, which is we were committing to raise $100 million between 2003 and 2020. And this was done a whole lot sooner. We also had a program called Go, which has now been moved under the Future Makers by Standard Chartered, and that's what I'll talk about in a few minutes. We've had financial education, and then we've also finally launched the Future Makers by Standard Chartered program, which was launched in 2019. Now, what is Future Makers? So Future Makers is our global initiative to tackle inequality. And this is inequality across social inequality, economic inequality. And this is done under different pillars, right? What is the basis? What is the idea behind Future Makers? We want to empower the next generation to learn, earn, and grow. And if you do make it onto the Women in Tech program, you will definitely tick all of those boxes. One of the things that we have also committed to as a bank is to raise 50 million. Well, we actually committed to raise about $75 million actually between 2019 and 2023. And this is all going to go towards programs and initiatives that then tackle Future Makers. So how is this program split? So we're committing to promoting greater economic inclusion for young people and for women, lifting the participation of SMEs and women, but then also doing that in a more sustainable way. And we're doing this by delivering the Future Makers program under 3 pillars, like I mentioned. So we've got the employability pillar, where we have a program called Youth to Work, and we empower young people to be job ready. Basically, it's one program that like Women in Tech has been incredibly successful. We actually just launched our 2nd cohort as well in September, and last week I was talking to the young people that have made it to the selection phase, right? So interestingly, that program moved from last year, we had 400 applicants on that program, and this year it's gone to 1,000. So this just goes to show what impact and real life impact these programs are actually having on people. Then we have the education pillar, which is our program called Goal. And under Goal, we are very specific in empowering young adolescent girls with life skills, and we use sport for this. In Zambia alone, I think we've reached over 17,000 girls under this program. In Southern Africa, actually, Zambia is the one market that has, in Standard Chartered, all the programs that are running under Future Makers under each pillar. And then, of course, we have what we're here to do today, which is the Women in Tech program, which is under our entrepreneurship program. And so basically, the Women in Tech program is meant to empower women to grow their businesses using technology. And you may ask, why women, and why is it called Women in Tech? So, research has shown that women are actually the majority of entrepreneurs across the globe, actually, and Africa is no exception. And these businesses also contribute to the raising of their children, the running of their homes, but also just empowering women to be able to generate an income and to give them a sustainable and decent living. But we also did find that, unlike our male counterparts, and we're not saying there's anything wrong with our men, but we also did find that more men had access to financing in comparison to women who were in business. And so that is why we specifically targeted women to lift the participation of women. Now, why technology? I mean, if there's no other time to, if there's no other time to have technology in your business, the best time is now. To be honest, we have seen what COVID did to the whole world, and it didn't matter what type of business or what type of sector you're in. What you definitely needed was technology to keep going, and this is the best time to do it. And also, technology just adds a different type of scale to your business. It takes you up to the next level. I mean, we've seen it now. People use Facebook to advertise. People don't have to actually physically come to you to reach you with their product. People talk on WhatsApp, and this is just an example, the simple ways in which we're using technology, but they're making a difference. And that is why also I think it also supports the government's agenda to drive SMEs and to have them playing a very active role in the economy across the globe. We also know that SMEs are the bedrock of any economy, and so this part is this program is our way of supporting that government initiative as well, to drive SMEs and to empower women as well. So that is my very official, very formal take on Women in Tech. But if I talk about it from a very personal level, and from a very personal level in terms of experience, last year when we launched the program, I think, if I'm going to be very honest, I probably wouldn't have envisioned just how big and how impactful. I mean, of course, we're hoping when we do launch this is going to be a massive thing, and it was. But I think what was so heartwarming for me to see is when I got to meet the women who came onto the program. And by the way, these women were not specifically in the technology sector. It's open to any sector, actually. And of course, save for if you are in narcotics and drugs and, any illegal activity. But, as long as you are obviously running a legal business, it's open for you to participate. So we opened up to all the sectors, and it was amazing to see the different ideas. When we had the first pitch day, when we were finally coming down to the final 10, I sat there listening to 20 phenomenal women who had exciting ideas. And I was just so proud to see it from a Zambian perspective, to see there's actually women in Zambia who are doing this kind of thing. And, so that alone, I think, to see that, made me feel like we've got to do this again, and the bank has committed to doing this again. Here we are with cohort 2. But when I saw the women that went through the incubator program, eventually, and I saw that the value that these people were getting out of all of this was a whole lot more than what the seed funding was going to be, is I think for me where the real impact actually is. So yes, what does the bank do? The bank has partnered with BongoHive because they are the best in the industry. They are the best in delivering a program like this, while Standard Chartered then comes in to support from the to support the program and to also be a part of delivering the program, and also providing the much needed seed funding. Okay, so aside from seeing 10 women change and grow their businesses, but to actually empower these women with actual seed money to put into their businesses was great to see. And speaking to these women much later, you can actually see how their businesses have changed. So I have talked about the seed funding, and you may ask, how much is that seed funding? So at the end of the program, 5 women, after going through incubation, will win seed funding of $10,000 each to pump into their businesses, to grow their businesses using technology. And I'm sure along the program, you will hear from other alumni who've gone through the program, and eventually see exactly just how much this is going to impact you. But I'd like to tell the women out here to say, look, it's not just about the money. Money is a big deal, but it is the ability for you to refine your idea, the ability for you to create a new network, the ability for you to be exposed to a new learning opportunity and a development opportunity, a coaching opportunity. I mean, we had fantastic coaches in the first cohort, and I can't wait to see who we're going to have in the second cohort. So if I have a final message before I hand over to Peter and come back again maybe to close, is to the women who are here, ask as many questions as you'd like to ask, understand the process really well, and be fully engaged in this program, and I think you will totally reap the benefits. On that note, thank you so much, Momo, and I'm going to be listening in to Peter now.
All right, thank you very much, Kembe, for that very extensive background. And I think a few key points that we can take away from that is, number 1, your business has to be legal, so no illegal activity. And number 2, you don't necessarily need to already be in the tech industry to apply for this program. So what the program will actually do is support you to leverage technology to grow your business. But what you do have to come into the program with is actually an idea on how technology can support you to grow your business. And on that note, I will pass it on to Peter, who will then take us through the application process and just also a bit of information about what I just explained about being able to express how you're going to use technology to grow your business. Peter, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Momo, and thank you, Kembe, for that introduction. So my name is Peter Nawa, and I'm the entrepreneurship lead at BongoHive. So I manage entrepreneurship programs, and one of the programs that I manage is the Standard Chartered Women in Tech program. And we did so with the first cohort, which was very successful. So in a nutshell, I'd like to give you a summary of what the program is and what is the goal of the program. As Kembe has alluded to, is that the goal of the program is to help female entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs either use technology or leverage technology in their businesses. So what we are expecting out of this, and right now we're in the recruitment phase, applications opened on the 22nd of November. And so we're hoping to get a target of about 100 applications, which is a significant increase from last year and based on the interest that we got from people throughout the program. And then out of that, we shall shortlist 40 who will take through a boot camp as a way of you refining your idea. So the 40 which we will select will go through a virtual boot camp for a week, and then they will pitch and be interviewed. And that's how we shall arrive at the 10 women who will go through the incubation. The incubation will run for 3 months. And what happens during the incubation is that it is business development support. So we shall look at your business. You will have weekly sessions virtually as well. And some, depending on COVID, you might have them as well in person. But In addition to that, you also get one-on-one coaching. So if you feel that a weakness in your business is finance, we shall provide an accountant who will talk through your numbers and support you in that way. If you think that you will need support through legal, through our partners, Musa Dudia, you will be able to get advice through that as well. And sometimes it might be marketing. So what we want to do is, out of this incubation program, whether or not you make it to the top 5, we hope and we know that through the 3 months, you would have been able to build your business to a point where you would probably even be able to make the $10,000 in a number of months or a couple of months' time. But we want to support businesses and make sure that they thrive and they're viable outside there on the market. And we have also opened it up, so it doesn't have to be just technology sector, like we're looking for people who've got that tech, but it's wide open. So the eligibility, let me talk a bit more about this. So you must be a female founder or a co-founder and over 18. And what we mean by co-founder is that you should have either 50 or more % shares in the business. That is what we mean by female co-founder. So we want at least, or if not that, then the majority of the co-founders should be women. So we're not saying that a business can't have a male co-founder or not, but we do not want the female to have a minority stake and our male counterparts have the majority. So that is very clear. And the minimum age is 18. We've left it open. There is no maximum age. It can be someone who is 50, someone who's 70, someone who's 100, someone who's 30. So everybody can apply for this. And you must be based and operating in Zambia. So you don't have to be just in Lusaka. You can be in Kitwe, you can be in other countries, but you should be operating in Zambia. However, I will put a caveat on this, that there will be some sessions that will be required to be had in Lusaka, such as you need to be present for the demo day when you're pitching. Unfortunately, which means that you would have to come to Lusaka and you would have to cover your own lodging and transport costs in that regard. And you must have a business or a business idea that is either tech-enabled. When we mean tech-enabled, I'll explain this a little bit more in the later session, but we mean that either you have a website and that's how you run your program, or you have an app and that's how you run your program. When we say you are leveraging technology, it means a component of your business should rely on some form of technology, whether it is social media, Facebook. Perhaps you might be getting your orders through Facebook, and the other part maybe is where you now go and deliver and the like. And this is specifically related to digital technology. And the business must be operating for 3 months to 3 years. And we will require that you are registered with PACRA. So at some point when we're doing the due diligence of following up, we shall ask you, and even in the form itself, it asks you whether you are registered with PACRA. If you are not registered with PACRA, then you would not apply for this and you will not be eligible, because of course, by the time the deadline closes, it means that the 3 months window would not have elapsed. Then we are asking that you have at least people who would attend the sessions, that is the incubation and throughout the program, a maximum of 2 people, preferably the founders, because these are people who will be the decision makers, and therefore it's important that they are part of this program. And also the top 5 will supposed to attend the acceleration program. Now, the top 5 are the ones who win $10,000 each. And during the acceleration program is when they're going to be building out the technology that they proposed when they pitched, or why they won the competition. So with that, in the later 3 months is where we are now supporting you from June to December. With the funding, we are supporting you and saying, okay, what do you want to build? How are you going to build it? Do you need developers? At what stage it is? And that is how the top 5 will progress into the incubation. But also, I think it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll forget about the other 5, but the whole 10 will then join our family of alumni, both in the BongoHive community, but also of the SC Women in Tech alumni, and they'll be able to receive support. So it's not like once the program is over, we'll fold our hand and we dump you. No, we will still continue to support you throughout your journey. And now I will take you through how to apply and what the application process is. So you will go to the website, which is www.scwomenintech.co.zm. And when you go to the website, what you'll find is the landing page, which is the next page, Momo. And so when you get to this page, this is the page that will meet you. You will have your home, what the program is about, we've outlined it. You will have your FAQs, a blog, and you'd also be able to see the previous cohort and what they were doing, the type of ideas that were there. You will see that we had quite a vast range of ideas or people in the top 10. We had somebody in furniture, somebody in retail, we had someone in real estate, we had somebody who was in cosmetics. So it is a broad range. So you just click on the apply here, and it will then take you to the actual form, which is a VC4A form. So when you get to that form, once again, you just click apply, and then it will give you an option to either sign in with your social media account or with your Gmail account. And this is what you're going to get. Next slide, Momo. Yes, so you have your Facebook, you have your LinkedIn, and then you have your Google. So if you use either of the social media accounts, it will pull your information, and then it will be able to have you log in each time you want to log into the platform. You'll be able to just sign in with your Facebook or your Google or your LinkedIn, and it will take you to the form. When you get there, the next page that you're going to see is where to ask you to put in your full names. So we would like the person who will be the point of contact to apply for this. So if you are Peter Nawa company, it should just, sorry, I'm not going to use Peter Nawa. If it's Rose company, for example, only one person can apply per company. So, and that is who will be communicating to whether you've made it to the next stage or not. So you then put the person's name there, then you'll get on to the next. So this is briefly more getting to know you more and where your business is at. Not too complicated. You have another question that asks you, am I joining this for it to connect with my business venture opportunity? So the platform that you're applying on has got a wealth of resources, from classes to investors go there to look for people. You'll be able to put up an opportunity. Angel investors usually visit VC4A to look for people to fund. So it's not just for us an application platform, but it has much more, and we welcome you to use it for much more than this application process. And the good part is, next time you apply for a program at BongoHive as well, you could still continue to, you won't have to do this process over again. It will already have your information. And then this is now where the application process begins. And the application process is cut up in about 4 phases. So you have your personal details. This is now asking you for your names, how many founders are there, your email address, and the age of the person who's registering. Are you a Zambian? Are you not? So this is pretty much the screening part and where we get to know more about you. The next part would be about your company. This is now where we want to know about your company, and then what is the name, where's the address, if you have any, if you have a LinkedIn social media page, you're welcome to share that as well. Who are the founders, what are the percentages? Then other than that, next is just now asking to know what the problem is, what the solution is in the market, and everything else. So now let me go back to key dates. Momo, you can get the key dates slide. So like you've noticed, applications are now open. They'll close on the 16th of January, 2022, sorry. And the application will then go through a shortlisting, and we'll shortlist the 40, and they'll be announced on the 31st of January. And then they'll have a virtual bootcamp for a week. Then they'll pitch for 2 days, because we'll have to split the groups in 2020. And then the announcement of the top 10 going through the incubation will be announced on the 21st of February, 2022. The incubation will take place from March to May, and then we'll have what we call a pitch day, where we invite judges, we'll invite other investors and the public to come and listen to you pitching, and then we'll award the top 5 with a $10,000 each on the 16th of June, 2022. The incubation phase will begin from, let me correct that, it's not 12th July, but from 20th June to 20th December, to be for 6 months, and at that point you will be building your programs and your facilitation. What I would also just like to encourage you, you have a long window of application until 16th of January. So please, the good part with this for AA, it is quite a long process, but there's a reason why we want that information. We want to get the best. We want you to think about what you're writing, and we provided guidelines on what we're asking for at each section. So it's not something that you can do in 20 minutes. If you think so, it takes a little bit more time. So you need to prepare. Do not wait for the 15th to start applying. It will sound or feel overwhelming. The sooner you apply for it, the better, because then you can take your time, you can save, you can go back to it. If you feel you need any clarification, you can email us and we'll be able to respond to any questions that need clarification. Next slide. So when we talk of using technology for business and growth, I did allude to this a little bit more, but now I'm going to get into more detail. So when we talk of technology, we are strictly referring to digital technology. So if it's any other equipment or machinery outside digital technology, usually that is not what we're looking for. So this is something that can be used online. So this is either a website, an application, social media, whether it is Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, that is all considered as technology. It could also be an off-the-shelf type of technology that you're using. Either you are using some project management tool to help with your business, whether it is one that helps with logistics, we will also consider that as a technology logistics. We will not be dealing in hardware. So if you have a hardware solution, or say you want to build a computer, you want to build an incubator for eggs, that is not what we're looking for in this program. So we want digital technology businesses specifically. Now, when we say digital enabled, which means digital enabled, it means the whole program essentially runs, or the whole business runs on technology from start to end. And when we say digital enabled, it means that a component of your business is being supported by either one part, which could be either a platform, it could be social media. Some of you take orders through social media, you let people know that you are selling your product through social media, so that would also count as digital enabled. But we also want people who've got ideas. So right now you may have a business, but you know that there is a way in which technology can really support you. So you don't have to be a developer, you don't have to be a tech person, right? And that is why this program is there. But you feel that with technology, things can be faster. Perhaps responding to customer queries. You think that maybe if you had a chatbot, if you had a platform that allows that to manage, that would be much better. Maybe it would be managing your logistics or managing your supply chain, right? If you think that there is a technology out there and you are able to explain to us what it is, even if you haven't implemented it and it's just an idea, we would still like to hear from you, because then we'll be able to assess and see that whether SC Women in Tech is actually a business that can then support you. We've had in the past cohorts where somebody says that they've had a challenge with customers or businesses getting in touch with them because they don't have a website, don't have a platform, right? So they initially didn't have it. So throughout the program, they were one of the top 5. They got the money and they built a website, they put a chatbot, and people are now able to get in touch with them and respond to them. So it is such type of ideas that we are looking at, right? So in a nutshell, that is what we mean when we say technology businesses. Whether you are using it currently or you think you know what type of business you need and you just need support, we want to hear from you. There's an opportunity for you to explain that in the application itself, and that is what we shall be waiting for. From my end, I think this is it. I hope I've clarified what the program is about, the dates, and the type of people we're looking at. If you would like more information, we have an FAQ where we're able to answer it. You could also go to the BongoHive Facebook page and would also be able to answer your questions. If you went to also the BongoHive website, would also be able to answer any questions that you have for the same. I think right now, I will also just invite Kembe, and then we can open it up for questions, or Momo, if there are any questions, would be happy to answer them.
Peter, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, so I'm going to read out some of the questions that we've received so far. So the first question is from Farida Aliu Dalla. What are we going to achieve, I guess, from attending the program? What can Farida expect to achieve by the end of the program? Yeah.
Okay. I think, Farida, what you can expect to get at the end of the program, if you make it into even the top 40, all the way to the top 10, to the top 5, I think is business development support. This is where you are supported to help your business grow. And that is our intention, to help your businesses grow from where it is to the next level. You will have support of the team at BongoHive, of experts in their various fields, whether it is marketing, accounting. You would also have access to legal advice. And this is the support to networks that you'll be able to get if that is what you need. And also, we also once in a while do invite funders or investors to come and speak to people, right? And of course, definitely the ultimate would be the $10,000. But I think this program is so much more than the $10,000 is because you have to get the business support. Now, I will put a caveat in this. If you're coming in just for it is work, and I will not lie, like you will have to put in the work. There is no amount of support or spoon feeding we can do if you are not interested in growing your business. So you should also be motivated to see your business grow. You should also be able to put in the work to see your business grow. We shall be open, we shall be available for you. So please do make it in your mind that, okay, you want to grow and we are there to support you and make sure you thrive. Your success is also our success, is Standard Chartered success as well. So we'll be able to provide that support.
All right, thank you. So there's another question from an anonymous attendee. Hello, if the business has 3 owners and only 1 out of 3 of the owners is a female, is the business still eligible?
No, it is not, because the majority share, well, it depends. Let me say it depends. So if there are 3 owners and the female has at least 50% of the shares, yes. If you are equal partners, it means that you have a minority stake, therefore you are not eligible for this.
All right, next question from Lena. Can you write down a new business idea and the application process that has not been implemented in my current business, or do I focus on my current business only?
So Lena, if you do have, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Lena, if you do have an idea that you want to implement, we welcome it. As long as the idea you want to implement includes technology, you are more than welcome to apply with that idea, even if you haven't yet implemented it, because that is what the program is. One of the intentions or objectives of the program is to help you and support you throughout that implementation process. So yes, you are welcome to do so.
Peter, I think we need to clarify that question, because she's asking the difference between a new business idea or an idea to implement technology. So if it's a new business that you're trying to develop in the program, then no, you will not be eligible. But if you're already running a business and you've got an idea to implement technology, then yes, that new business, that new idea, yeah, you could come with that new business idea into the program.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so yes, Peter, did you want to add?
There was one, I think, from Wanganji, and she's asking, our business was registered in 2015, but only started operating in 2021 February. However, we have since ceased this business as a partnership, are in the process to register the same business as a limited company. Do we still qualify, since the latest registration may be less than 3 months at registration? Wangaji, I will let you say that you could go ahead and apply for this, and during our due diligence, we'll just ask for evidence of what you're saying for us to have a look at, and yes, you can go ahead and apply. As long as, once again, I'll say this point, as long as the females have at least 50% shareholding in the business, even the one that you're registering. Yes.
And last question that we have here on Zoom, not sure about Facebook. George, maybe you could help with that if that's possible. But can we apply even when the business only has one founder?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can apply. Yes, you can apply. You can definitely apply. There's also some in the chat. I'll also just read it from Helen, who says, if I'm operating a weekend market and I get most of my leads and customers online, am I eligible to apply? Yes, Helen, you can apply. You can apply.
I think
So you
maybe the
just have to
clarification
demonstrate
there
to
would have to be,
us.
it has to be a registered business though.
Yes.
A registered,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. So as long as your weekend market is registered and is a business, yes, you can apply. Does it have to be limited company, or it can be business registration with Parker? It can be business registration with Parker. It's open. It just has to be registered. So we will need to see Parker documents. I'll give Kembe, in case I've left anything out that you wanted to answer, maybe I may have.
No, actually, I think, firstly, I'm glad to see the interaction from the ladies and the questions coming through. That's great, because then, the information is going out. I think you've answered all the questions. Well, I haven't seen any on Facebook. I've been taking a look there to check if we have any Facebook questions. But it appears we don't. Most of the questions are coming from Zoom, unless on the BongoHive page.
There's another one on the chat. Yes, I'm registered. I think this is Helen Hyde. So yes, I'm registered as a limited company. It's not a non-profit organization, to be precise, registered with PACRA. Oh, it's a non-profit organization, to be precise, registered with PACRA.
Okay.
Okay.
So Helen, I would like to see what your business model is. And also that I think is also quite important for us to know whether is this a social enterprise. If it falls under the social enterprise name, yes, you can. But if it's strictly acquired, it's strictly NGO, there we would not encourage you to apply, because then you'd be probably, because we're looking for businesses, we're looking for entrepreneurs in this. So if you are purely a non-profit organization, no. But if you're a social enterprise, I would encourage you to apply for it.
Maybe you can touch on what a social enterprise is for other people maybe that might not know. Yeah.
So a social enterprise is a business that has a social good or a social cause attached to it, but it also seeks to make profit at the same time to kind of support that business and operating costs. So it's trying to be sustainable and not wholly depend on donations and handouts. So even if you were to pull out the donations and handouts, in a sense, it should still be able to stand and sustain the business itself. So you find that an example of public social enterprises would be probably your Jijabontas, a kind of like social enterprises type of arrangements.
All right, so those are all the questions in the chat. Sorry, did I cut someone off?
I was actually just saying, Helen had responded saying it's a social enterprise.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So I think all questions in the Q&A and the chat have been answered. Still no questions on Facebook. Well, we still have a lot of time, I think a little over a month to apply. And as Peter said, I'd like to reemphasize that the application is long. It's a free $10,000 to help you grow your business. So there's a reason why it's long and why we're making sure that you do deserve to be in the program. So please do start as early as you can. There's an info email on the website for you to email us in case you have any questions in the application process. If you don't understand anything, please feel free to reach out to us, and just don't leave it for last minute. So
Momo,
Peter,
there is a question.
Kim,
there is a question and that has come up.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Yeah.
Okay, so are the funds given to the company or the person that applied to the program, especially in the case that one of the shareholders is dormant and does not participate in the running of the business, where the company has two shareholders, male and female? That's a very good question.
Okay, yes, so thank you. And thank you for bringing up. I don't know how I've overlooked this. So the funds are given for the business, and more specifically to build the technology that you proposed when you pitch on demo day. It is not for buying plots. It's not for going shopping. It's not for it's not for other business operations. The first and foremost goal target is for you to build the technology. And we do not release these funds at once, because we want to make sure that you're actually doing the work. So we tranche it. So you have to give us your milestones. And if you say, look, I want to build a website, we'll ask you, okay, all right, for the first release of the funds, let us know who the developer is. Let us know that you've spoken and you know what you want to develop. Let us know that they'll do the first sketching work. We'll then maybe release a certain tranche. When you've now proven that you've built the website and it's working, so can I want to put a chatbot? Can I have the next tranche of funds? We will then release that. Only when what you said you would build, and say, for instance, for some reason, maybe it is cheaper than what you budgeted for, and you said, look, I have change left, can then that fund once again be deviated to other things like buying stock for the business, but it is purely to grow your business. What we want is that come at the end of the incubation, we should be able to say to Standard Chartered that, look, this is what the incubatees or people in this program have done with the $10,000. We should be able to see, we should be able to point to other countries and see, because only when we're able to show that can we sustain such a program. Because if it happens that there is nothing to show, then there is no basis for us to run such a program because the funds have been not misused and not used for the intended target. So it is, if you have issues with your co-founders, I would suggest you sort that out now before the application ends. Either you write some agreement or whatever, but it is strictly, and then we will strictly be putting it in a Standard Chartered bank account. So you would have to open an account with Standard Chartered, right? So it's not, and it's the business account. So it's not going to be going into a personal account. We will not accept that.
Yeah, and I think in addition to that, Peter, so there's shareholders, there's a male and female. So I hope the one that's dormant is the male, because remember, you need to be, you need to be, majority female shareholders. So yeah, so all the best to you. There are a few more questions here in the chat. So one, will participation certificates be awarded?
Yes, there will be.
Okay, next question. I have finished the application and submitted. If there are any changes in the business before the deadline, is there a chance to edit the application?
Yes, you can. If it won't allow you to edit, you can go ahead and submit a new one. We'll take your latest, the one that you submitted last.
Peter, just to clarify on that. Yes, there's actually a provision where you can
edit.
Edit before the deadline.
So you can let us know, then we can let you edit.
All right, thank you, George, for jumping in there. All right, so next question. Do you monitor the use of funds after the grant, i.e. monitoring management accounts on a monthly basis? Very good question, Linda.
Yes, Linda. So what we want to know is, we want feedback, because part of it is also you being able to give us information on how the funds has impacted your business, because it's not just building the technology, but it's how has your business grown. So we shall be asking you questions like, how much have you made, let's say in this month? Have you received any additional funding? Have more customers come in? So it's just basic, that type of information, but we will not be nitty-gritty into your business like auditors. No, it's just pretty much surface level type of information that will help us know the type of support and impact that we could make. And also, I think it's good to share this information with us as well as BongoHive and Standard Chartered, because then we'll be able to help you know where to make corrections if they're needed, or to support you as well. It's part of the support process. So yes, we shall be requiring some of that information.
Okay, and there's a last question that's come in through Facebook. We still have about 10 minutes to go, guys. So the more questions, the better, so that you can be successful at filling out your application. So the question says from Alice on Facebook, my business is new. I just had it registered and I learned of this program today. I wanted to find out whether this is an ongoing program.
I'll give that.
I guess I could answer that. Yeah, so the short answer to that is yes. So Alice, first of all, I'm glad that you're here nonetheless, and you're here to get information. That's one of the things we find that women don't actively do, and to see you here, this is fantastic. So the short answer is yes. Our hope as the bank is to run sustainable community engagement programs. And as you can see, this is the second cohort that's running. I'm sure when you say is new and just had it registered, did you have it registered at least 3 months ago? Because then if you did, then I think Peter, she does qualify to apply, if I'm not mistaken, right? If it's new, as in you registered last month, then you can wait for the next cohort, which we will definitely be announcing by at least July next year, about August, yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Alice, but yes, definitely there will be another cohort.
Okay, so a question here from an anonymous attendee. What are the milestone review periods, and is the money spent over a period of a year?
So the milestone review period, when you do get the funding, will be for the 6 months. So that you're in the acceleration program. So the milestones is dependent on what technology you want to implement. So when you get the top 5, we then have a meeting with you. We then say, okay, what did you propose? How are we going to work out these milestones? And obviously, with milestones, they have to be SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, whereby whether it is myself, Campbell, Momo coming to measure, that's a milestone. We should all arrive at the same conclusion. You achieved this milestone, you didn't achieve this milestone. So that's mainly, essentially, our goal. If you said, I would develop a website, question is, what's the website name? We all type it into our URL. Is it there? Yes. Is it not there? No. We then move on now to the type of quality of websites. That's another now milestone that we can then get into, depending on what the discussions were at the time of agreeing the milestones. But the technology has to be built within the period of the acceleration, because as you know, we're now moving on to the next cohort by the time, if it's more longer than that, and we'll not be able to support you as much. So we really recommend that during that 6 months, we're able to support you.
All right. Another, yes, Kembe?
Yeah, just saw the other question. No, I just saw the other question, yeah.
Okay, so from Karen Tembo, if the business is a for-profit organization but has not made significant funds, what are the chances of this business being selected? Also, I personally created the app my business runs on. Does the program also provide additional education on artificial intelligence?
Yes,
Karen.
Yes, Karen. So you could apply and you do qualify. And I think you're the type of people we probably are looking for, because we'd like to support you, find out why aren't you making money? Where are the loopholes? And that is why the incubation, the 3 months incubation, will support you to that stage. We'll look at your business model, the revenue model. Maybe it might be the model of business that you're using might not be the right one, right? We'll have a look at all that. So think of it more like a support program, more like therapy for the business, right? And trying to figure out the bolts and nuts of why isn't this working? How can we make it work? And of course, if you do need additional support, we would be able to advise. If we don't have that support, we can always direct you to people who have that AI experience. And that's the beauty of an incubation program.
I was going to say, actually, on this one, Peter, maybe we need to be very clear. We're not looking for successful businesses. You know what I mean? We're not looking for profit-making businesses. We're looking for businesses that have the potential to grow. And a lot of times they're not necessarily making the profit that they want to make, or that they perceive that they would want or that they think they should be making, okay? And that is why we want those type of businesses to come on. I mean, I don't expect a business that's been in operation for 3 months making insane profit, but is the idea viable, and can that idea be refined and scaled up to levels that the business begins to make profit and in a sustainable way in the long term? So maybe that's a very good question, Karen, that you asked, and I think we probably should have another session where we do just go into this again and just explain this, but we're not looking for profitable businesses, right? We're looking for, do you have a great idea in your business that could actually turn you into a profitable business, if not anything else? Yeah, so that's a good question, yeah.
Oh, thank you for that, Kimbe. So Amandra Musumba from Facebook. Am I eligible to apply as I have an app being rolled for an ongoing business? Yeah, I think there's a bit of incomplete information there, but yes, exactly. Peter, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll try as best to kind of decipher what you said, Amandra. So I think you mean that you have a business and an app not yet fully developed, probably. But if it's been used in an ongoing business already registered, yes, you can apply.
Yeah, I think that was great way of answering that. Okay, so we have 5 minutes left on the clock, 5 minutes left on the clock, and no questions at the moment. Maybe while we wait for any questions, maybe if people are still typing or thinking, Peter, Kembe, would you like to say any last words? Anything that comes up to mind?
Yeah, I think for me, my last word is I encourage you to apply. I think also I encourage you to let your other friends, your female friends, your aunties, your sisters, let them know the opportunity. A lot of times we always get to say, I didn't know about this. So please help us, be our evangelist that you've attended this session and share the opportunity, share the posters we are sharing. We're promoting this throughout December all the way to mid-January until the deadline. So please let them know about this opportunity. It is a fantastic opportunity. We are not charging you to apply. It is a free. So please go ahead. You don't lose anything by applying, right? Just maybe a few minutes of here, but you have so much to gain by going through. Even making it to the top 40 is a big achievement.
Yeah. Thanks, Peter. I totally agree with that. And I was going to have the same request around sharing this information. I think the first time around this program, people thought we were specifically looking for women who were in technology, right? And I guess that's how the name sounds. But maybe let me break it down like this, okay? The example I like to give, before we had our own women in tech, is I would give an example of someone in the alumni in Nigeria, but I will give the Zambian one because it's exciting for me. We had people who were in beauty, in health, in wellness, in real estate. We had furniture. So don't limit yourself to my business, has to be, I don't know, high tech. I have no idea what people imagine, but it could literally be a very traditional business that could use the much needed impact of or value of technology to just change the way that business actually works and change how people access your business and your product or your service. So that's the first thing. The second thing is go out there and spread the word. Ladies, let's go out there and call up another sister and another friend and call them up and let them join the program with you, because after all, the women in Zambia will be, better for it nonetheless, right? And as somebody who has seen this program change lives, I would definitely encourage you to apply. You know what I mean? Try to apply and let's see how that works. You know what I mean? And maybe that's one step to you thinking, what else can I do better about my business? All right. And when you do come onto the program, seize the moment, use the opportunity, stretch every single moment you have with the BongoHive team and the Standard Chartered team as much as you can. And after this, I wish all the ladies the very best. And I'm sure I will be seeing you at the side of the 40.
All right, Kembe, Peter, thank you so much for those motivating closing words. And for the participants on Zoom, on Facebook, thank you so much for your attention, for your questions, for the interaction. And we'll be looking forward to seeing all your applications, especially the ones that ask questions, all your applications once we close them in on January the 16th. So again, please make sure that you start your application as soon as possible and send us any questions that you have in the process. All right, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your week, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Momo. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.